Good evening to one and all present in the webinar today. We are very happy to welcome you to yet another edition of Able Talk and to give all parents access to the expert on emotional intelligence that we have on board today. We will, as always, start with a small introduction of Able Aura. Able Aura is India's largest ecosystem for people with disabilities, and we are here with the sole motto of empowering and enabling persons with disabilities. It is an exclusive digital platform and marketplace for people with disabilities in the hope of making the world an equal place for everyone. We are here to provide anything and everything people with disabilities and their families want or hope for. A little about Ableora's activities. Um, Ableora proudly launched Sportability event on 4th of March, 4th of December 2022, and we have since then we have moved on further and we have launched our own Able Aura Academy for sports. It's one of the kind sports academy for people with disabilities. This was launched in January 7th 2023. This was launched in January 7th 2023. And here we train kids with disabilities to achieve their sporting dreams. We are doubly happy today because we have just launched an offshoot of our sports academy this morning. We are also truly humbled to announce that we will be launching our exclusive app shortly, and this app will be a gateway for persons with disabilities to access and avail all the products and services they have always wanted to get hold of. We at Ableora also run the Make My Wish campaign, under which underprivileged persons with disabilities can make a wish through us and avail assistive products and services for free. This has come to life because of the CSR and ISR funds donated by socially responsible corporates and individuals who want to serve persons with disabilities. That is about us at Team Ableora. A little about our guest speaker today. Our guest speaker for today is Mr. S. Ganesh Kumar. He is an emotional alchemist, an emotional intelligence trainer and coach. He is the author of the book, The Power of Emotions. He is the founder of EQ Universe Learning Private Limited, and he is also the founder of Emotional Reengineering Model. He is a specialist in emotional intelligence for leaders, emotional intelligence for managers, emotional intelligence for sales and customer facing executives. He is also an NLP practitioner, and he is one of the best trainers, and life coaches in the field. We are very happy to have you, sir. So I have immense pleasure in welcoming Mr. Ganesh Kumar on behalf of Team Able Aura, and I ask him to take over the webinar. Thank you for your presence, sir.
Are you able to see my screen, Archana, now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Great. Very good evening to everyone, and thank you so much for having me for this part of this session. So quickly, I'm going to be taking you through how do we handle our emotions, right? In order for us to serve anybody, it could be the world, it could be our own family. The first and most important is to serve ourselves, right? Is to really take care of ourselves. The more we develop this ability to take care of ourselves really well, then anything on the outside can be easily achieved, right? So that's what we're going to be looking at. So all of you present here, I'm going to go through some few questions for all of you. What is the most important thing in our life? What is that everything we run for? Every action that we do, we are expecting something out of it, right? So any idea what is that we always working towards in our relationships, in our work, in our health? We put in a lot of effort, right? And we expect some amount of, any idea?
Love and affection, sir.
Wonderful. Love and affection. Absolutely. What else? Any other? You can just take a guess. Okay. So we are looking at love. We're looking at affection. Another way to put it is we are looking for a lot of results. Right. Whatever action that we take, we look at a lot of results. Right. Now, results is basically an outcome. Right? I put in an X amount of effort in terms of taking care of my family. It could be running my business. It could be something that I'm doing to take care of my health, right? So we put in X amount of effort or energy into something, and we are all looking for results. Now, the results, is it in our hands? Definitely not, right? Most of the times, the results that we produce in our lives is not in our hands. Then what is in our hands? The input that we put into any of that is in our hands. So if you look at it, the way to we look at results in basically four areas in our life. The first area where we are looking at results is relationships, right? So we want to have a great relationship with our children, with our spouse, with our family. And the second area that we want results is money, right? Most of us are working towards seeing how we can produce X amount of income. The third area we look for results is in health. And also the fourth area is experiences. Now, any problem or any challenges in our life, if you look at it, only happens in these four areas. Cannot be outside of these four areas. It can be only in the space of relationship, money, health, and experience. So if you know how to handle these four areas and how to handle the emotional challenges that comes around these four areas, then handling our life becomes very, very easy, right? But what stops us from getting there, or what stops us from not having the results that we want in our life? Where do you think these results come from? If you can just take a guess. What are the results based on? Results are based on?
Action, sir.
Absolutely. Results are based on our actions, right? So instead of trying to change the results, we can focus on seeing how we can change the actions. What are actions based on? Actions are influenced by? What are actions based?
Practice.
Practice, okay.
Expectations.
Expectations, beautiful, okay. So you wake up today, you feel very good. How will your actions be? Very good, isn't it? Now you wake up very tired, you wake up very lazy, you wake up not in a good mood. How will your actions be? Not supportive, isn't it? So the actions in our life is influenced by the feelings that we have at any point of time. Whatever action that we take, Behind that, there is a feeling. And the feeling that you have helps to take that action in a positive way or does not help us to take the action in the right way. And if you look at the feeling again is in turn influenced by the thoughts that we have in our life, right? The predominant thoughts that we have, right? Um, uh, if you feel life is very positive, life is very supportive, right? I'm here to win. Every challenge that is coming my way is helping me, is supporting me, is there to take my life to the next level. So the thoughts that you have in our life again influences the feeling, and that influences our action, and that helps us to change the results that we want in our life. Now, again, looking at these thoughts are influenced by, now comes a bigger guess. The thoughts in our life are influenced by what? Any idea?
I guess it's our daily routine.
Okay, yes, it is. So when we say daily routine, it can also be the environment from where we are coming from.
Yes, and also the food intake we do.
Absolutely.
Everything matters.
Man,
The environment, the food, and the people around us. Everything
absolutely.
affects us.
Absolutely, Shilpa. Wonderful. So all of this, if you put it together in one place, we call it as a belief system. The people around us, right? The background from where they are coming from, the food that we have. Now, all of this, source of it comes from the belief system that we hold, right? This food is good, this food is not healthy, these people are okay, these people are not okay, this environment is fine, this environment is not fine. All this stems from the belief system that we hold. So if you look at life comes from this belief system, the belief system that we hold right from childhood, wherever brought up that we have, whatever background that we have, that has a huge impact on the belief system, our parents and parental figures. And from there comes the thoughts, comes the feelings, and then the actions and the results. Now, if you go deep down, these belief systems are very, very important what beliefs you hold in your life. But the most important is the belief that you hold about yourself. That is called as self concept. So, what is self concept? The belief that you hold about yourself. Right now, this has a huge impact in the way we live our entire life and leave what other people think about us. What do you think about yourself? Do you think yourself a strong person? You think yourself as a very gifted person? You think yourself as a very grateful person, right? Or if you feel that I'm like nothing, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, I'm not capable. Now, whatever beliefs that you hold about yourself, whatever self-concept that you hold about yourself, ends up preparing your entire life. Now, many a times it's very important for us to be conscious of this belief that we are holding ourselves. Sometimes we are, many of the times we are not. Sorry, excuse me for that. So, what when we go deeper into the self-concept, we'll try to understand what is part of the self-concept, which is what is running our entire life. That is what is helping us to have the right belief system, the right thought process, the right feeling, and also the right results. So, excuse me. Sorry for that. So, how I see myself is more important than how the world sees me, right? And the more and more we become conscious of it and we start creating the right world inside our heads, inside between this mind, that helps to create the right mindset outside of us. So, what's this self concept all about? The self concept, if you look at it, it comes from three places. One is self image, right? What is self image? The image that you hold about yourself. When you look into the mirror in the morning, what do you see about yourself? Do you see yourself as pretty? You see yourself as very positive, right? What is the image that comes to your mind when you see yourself in the morning? That has a huge impact in our life. The second one is the self-esteem, right? What you feel about yourself, right? That comes as part of the self-concept. And the most important is the self-worth, how you value yourself. If I were to give a simple word, I would say self-image is how you see yourself, self-esteem is how you feel yourself, and self-worth is how you value yourself. So whenever we are bringing up children also, one of the important things that we see is we work on this, right? How they see themselves, how they feel about themselves, how they value themselves. If you're able to build this very, very strongly, right, in children,
Sorry,
yeah,
sir, excuse me, little louder, sir. Not
yes,
able to.
yeah. So once we are able to build this in children at a very young age, right, the how they see themselves, how they feel about themselves, how they value about themselves, that builds the self concept. Now, when the self concept is very, very strong and very powerful, that helps us to live a beautiful life. So it's not about having a bank account worth 1 crore. It's about feeling safe and secure inside, right? It's not having hundreds of people around me. It's about feeling loved, right? Even if I am by myself, am I able to feel loved by myself? No, this is what is more important. So at the end of every single goal in our life, if you look at it, it's actually an emotion. So if you know how to handle this emotion and if you take care of this emotion, then your ability to produce whatever, whether the result is happening the way you want, the result is not happening the way you want, but you can be very, very contented and grateful on the inside. So even for yourself, my question to you is just check within yourself. What is the self image you hold about yourself? What is the self esteem that you have? What do you feel about yourself? Do you feel yourself positive all the time, or how do you value yourself? A question that I would definitely ask you to check for yourself, right? Now, instead of going and working on the self image separately, or working on the self image separately, or the self worth, what is one thing you can do? You can work on your self love. By working on your self love, automatically your self image, your self esteem, and self worth, all of it will improve. And therefore, your ability to produce whatever results that you want in your life becomes very, very easy. Many a times, when we don't love ourselves, when we are not able to forgive ourselves, when we are not able to accept ourselves the way we are, then automatically your self concept goes for a toss. Your self image goes for a toss. Your self esteem and self worth, how you feel, think, goes for a toss. So, what I would recommend each and every one of us to go on this journey to start loving yourself very, very deeply, irrespective of what is the mistakes that you have done in your past, whatever challenges that you might go through in a day, whatever that you feel that you know you have done a mistake, right? Irrespective of whatever has happened, if you're able to develop this ability to love yourself every single day, then life becomes really powerful. Now, how to do that? Again, I'm going to see, I'm going to take you through a couple of steps. What is the challenge and why we're not able to do? Many a times, we're not looking at the root cause of what the challenge is. And we are only trying to solve the symptoms. We have a headache, right? We immediately go and take a tablet and then try to sort out the headache instead of going and finding out why did I have a headache in the first place? What caused this headache? Is it about not having enough amount of water, or I was in the sun for a long time, which my body is not able to accept? Is it I did not have food on time? Is it that I did not eat sleep enough? Or am I straining my eyes too much? Instead of going and finding out what is the root cause, many times we are diving into taking action, which is not very supportive. So here in this case also, as I mentioned, many a times the problems that we face in our life, right, not feeling contented, happy, excited, the root cause of it, if you go back and see, it also comes from the place that we are not taking care of ourselves enough, not supporting ourselves enough. Are you all in track with me? Are we all able to resonate? Can you show some hands, symbols? Yeah, wonderful. Right. So you're able to be in sync with me. Wonderful. What about others? Yeah, I can see from Anandi and Shilpa. Others, are you on track? Are you able to connect? Beautiful. Okay, beautiful. Thank you, Rajkumar. Yes, nice. Great. So now I want to give you this example. And so there is this favorite food of yours. Can you just message me? What is your favorite food of yours, please? Or you can even unmute and share. That's also fine. What's your favorite food? Actually, you can also share.
Idli,
Idli,
sambar.
sambar, idiyappam.
Mine is the, what do I say? Idiyappam,
Okay, idiyappam, biryani. Okay, so we have
biryani,
different
Paneer,
paneer.
pan-
paneer pulao.
paneer pulao. Very nice. So let's say your favorite food is there in front of you, right? And then you're about to eat that food. Before you would just touch the food, 10 people jump in. Your family jumps in. From people from work, they jump in. Some strangers on the road, they jump in. And then they all just take all the food away. Right? Not even one rice is left out. Every food is taken away. How will you feel? How will you feel?
Definitely, I would feel angry.
Angry, yes. Frustrated, right? Agitated, furious, right? And whatnot. Great. Now just take another example. Let's say I've come to your place and I brought your favorite food. You're very, very hungry, and I feed you your food. I give you your food. You're very happy. Thank you, Ganesh, and you have the food. Now you finished one round, and I said, no, no, no. I can see that you're really hungry. I'm going to give you some more. So you have one more round, right? Again, I give you one more round. Like you are now eaten till this, right? You're full now. Now I still give you your favorite food. What will you do?
I'll start hating it.
You start eating it. Okay. Let's say overwhelmed. Okay. Let's say you notice someone else coming into the room, and assumption is it is their favorite food also. What will you do?
Offer them.
Offer them, isn't it? You will immediately like, hey, I think you are hungry, and then you will call this particular person, you will make them sit down, and you will feed that particular person, right? Now, assumption there is unlimited food, and there are people just walking in, you will ensure that every single person out there is fed. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, isn't it?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Yeah. So now connect this to love. Connect this to love. Now you have only this much amount of love, very, very little love that you have. And then 10 people, 15 people from your family, from office, from work, and everywhere, they pull away that love. Obviously, you will feel frustrated, angry, agitated, etc. Isn't it? You're like, I only don't have love. And then you're trying to take away that small love that I have for myself. Now it becomes a big challenge, right? Where you're not able to prioritizing yourself, you're not taking care of yourself, you're not enjoying your time, you're not having me time. All of this, when you don't do that, when you don't take care of yourself, when you don't prioritize, there is no self-love. When there is no self-love, when people come and ask for more love from you, you don't have enough, right? And that brings a lot of frustration. Now the second scenario, when you are filled with love, you prioritize yourself, you have taken care of yourself, you are filled to the brim with love. When someone comes to you, automatically you start giving them love. Yes or no? Your ability to take care of them, support them is very, very easy and very, very powerful, isn't it? Now, that can happen when you are filled with love, right? When you have prioritized yourself, when you are taking care of yourself. Right? It's very normal for us. Whenever we have someone special at our home, we need to take care of them. They need special attention. You need to spend more time with them. We end up not taking care of ourselves. We end up not prioritizing ourselves. We start spending our entire life for somebody else, and then suddenly some it can happen for some period of time. After a point of time, we like, what's happening in my life? Right? You get lost, right? So it's very, very important for all of us to take the time to spend in such a way that you are able to love yourself. This is so, so, so very important, right? This is one of my quotes. When your cup is empty, it becomes very difficult to fill others' cup, right? When your cup is empty, it's very, very difficult to fill others' cup. When your cup is full, then by natural tendency, it's very, very easy for us to give others. Now, when I squeeze an orange, what comes out of it? Any idea? When I squeeze an orange, what comes out of it? So simple. What comes?
Juice.
Juice.
Juice, right? What juice? Orange or apple juice?
Orange juice.
Orange juice, obviously, right? So when I squeeze an orange juice comes out of it. Same way, when I squeeze you, when I squeeze you, what comes out of you? If you're filled with love, love will come out of you. Even if someone is hitting you, getting agitated with you, you filled with love, love comes out of you. But let's say you're filled with anger and frustration and agitation. When someone squeezes you, when you're put through in a situation which is difficult for you, obviously anger and frustration is what is coming out of you. So just connect to this and then focus on working on yourself, filling yourself with a lot of love so that it's very, very easy for you. Whenever you go through an instance when it's difficult or tough, you can do that. Now, it's so easy to say love yourself and prioritize yourself, but there are certain things which is stopping us, right? So quickly, I'm going to take you through what stops us from loving ourselves. There are basically three things which stops us. The first one is this: the limiting belief that we hold. There are so many limiting beliefs that we hold which is not helping us to love ourselves. Can you tell me one limiting belief, anything that comes to your mind? One limiting belief that is not helping us to love ourselves. Can you give me one example, please? Anyone? We are not capable.
Criticisms.
Criticisms, we believe that whatever they're saying is true, correct? I'm not good enough. I can't cook properly. I'm just saying it's a belief, right? So there are so many beliefs that we have like that, right? I'm not. Sometimes we have a belief I'm not a good mother, I'm not a good father, right? I'm not a good provider, right? No, we have beliefs like that, right? And when we hold certain beliefs like that, that does not help us to love ourselves. Let's say I hold a belief every day about myself, I'm not a good father, right? And I'm holding on to this belief. Do you think I'll be able to live a beautiful and happy life? Obviously not, right? It's going to be a big challenge. So every belief that we hold, which is limiting us, which is not supporting us, does not help us to love ourselves. So the first thing that we need to do in our lives is be conscious of the beliefs that we hold. Whenever that process comes, I am not capable, I'm not good enough, I can't do this, this is not possible. Those are places where we need to check ourselves and say, where did this belief come from? Where do you think the beliefs come from in our life? Any idea? Where do the beliefs in our lives comes from?
The environment and the people around us.
Yes, correct. That's true. What else? Very good, Shilpa. Where do you think? Our own mind. Okay, very good, Yogesh. Where else do you
Maybe
think?
a brought up.
Absolutely, right? The brought up. Now, there are a lot of messages which our parents have consciously said. I've told you multiple number of times. There are also a lot of beliefs that the parents have never said, never discussed, but we have picked up from the lives that we lived. Like, for example, let's say one of the things I've noticed is my father, in the beginning of the month, his purse is full, like it's overflowing with money, right? And I know notice by 5th or 10th of the month, I notice my father's purse goes like blank, right? It's like super empty, right? Now, what happens when I keep on seeing this? So my belief, unconsciously believe, okay, at the beginning of the month, there's going to be a lot of money at home. At the probably after the 10th of the month, there might not be enough money at all. This could be a belief that I might unconsciously carry. Let's say my father and mother did not express enough love in front of me. Right? I might have a belief that this is how relationship should be. Okay, you should never express love, right? Expressing love is not okay. I probably could take that belief, right? So like this, the beliefs that we hold with respect to money, with respect to relationship, with respect to ourselves, whether I'm capable, not capable, all of it comes from a childhood. Now, as a child, as a child 0 to 7 years old, our conscious mind is not very active, right? So whatever the beliefs that is thrown on us, we just accept it, we believe that is true. Only after about 7 the conscious mind becomes really active, and for us to process it and see whether it's right or not right, right? So now, even though even today most of us are not living a conscious life, we are less living a life based on the rules that we have created from our childhood. As a child, I believe this is, I like this, I end up trusting that. As a child, I believe I will not like this, I end up living that. So many of us are not living a conscious life that is not helping and supporting us. So, whatever challenge that you're facing in your life right now, right? Whatever challenge that you're facing in your life right now, I want you to be conscious of what are the beliefs that you hold with respect to that. This is the homework that you can do, right? Look at the challenges that you feel you are facing right now and write down whatever beliefs that you're holding, both good beliefs and the bad beliefs, right? The positive beliefs and the limiting beliefs. The positive beliefs are called as empowering belief, which is helping you to succeed in the challenge. And the limiting belief, it is what is draining your energy, which is not helping you to succeed in that particular goal of yours. So far, are we good? Everyone is able to connect about limiting beliefs? Wonderful. Thank you so much. Right? Great. So the first thing, as I mentioned, which is not helping to love ourselves, is the limiting beliefs that we hold. The second thing is the emotional baggage. What is emotional baggage? All the emotions that we have not processed and released are called as emotional baggage. Like, for example, let's say I have anger against my father or anger against my mother. I have not processed it and I released it. I hold on to that anger that I against my father or mother for some reason. Now that will keep haunting me for the rest of my life. Now I might, whoever looks similar to my father, I might not be able to connect. I will not be able to process it. I'll not be able to okay with it, and that causes a problem. Now anybody, let's say, I have a challenge with the relationship with my mother. I'm again not able to connect to, let's say, women. I'm not able to process emotions properly. I will not be very sensitive to other people's emotions. All this becomes a challenge, right? So emotional baggages could be connected to trust. Emotional baggage could be insecurity, fear that I might hold, shame that I might have, guilt that I have. All these emotions that I have not processed and released, I've been just accumulating. Let's say I accumulate fear, 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 fear. And anything and everything is causing fear inside of me, which is again not very supportive, right? So it's very important for us to process the emotions that we have and release them. For example, let me give you an example. Let's say my father told me that this weekend I'm going to take you to the picnic. So you're like, yeah, super excited for the picnic. You're waiting for the picnic to happen. And then he says, every day checks with you, did you do the homework? And only then I'll take you to the picnic. Like, yeah, 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 I've done it. And then Friday comes, you're excited. Father says, tomorrow we're going to picnic. On Saturday morning, you wake up and then you notice the father is not at home. You go to your mother and ask, what happened to father? He says, no, no, some urgent work. He had to go. What happens to you when you hear this from your mother? What happens to you? How will you feel when you hear this from your mother?
Yeah, quite disappointing.
Disappointed, yes. Feel sad, right?
Yeah.
And then there is also a feeling that comes, maybe I can't
I
trust.
don't. Yeah, I cannot trust my dad.
Yeah, correct. You can, as a child, you can take any message. You can take a message, I can't trust my father. You can take a message, I can't trust men. You can take a message, I can't trust people. You can say, oh, you can even take a message that maybe picnics are will never happen in my life. Right? So many. As a child, you don't have limitation to what you can take as a belief system. Now this becomes a challenge, right? Now from so first time you got this pain, you trusted someone and you went through pain, right? You got hurt. So next time when your father says, okay, this week I'm going to take you for a picnic, will you trust him 100%?
No, I wouldn't do my homework.
Yeah. Why would we not trust? Because if you trust, there's a possibility of getting hurt. There's a possibility of going through pain. So, what we tend to do, we start protecting ourselves. We build a wall around us so that it's safe. It feels comfortable, right? I don't need to get hurt every single time. Now, what happens as a challenge is what you started to protect yourself now becomes the barrier in your life. Now, every time you have to trust, you don't want to, you start building the wall bigger and bigger and bigger around you. Now, the wall is really big and huge. You are very protected. There's a possibility you won't get hurt, but the challenge is you can never trust people in your life, right? Now, this is one example of trust. The same way for love, same way for guilt, same way for shame, right? So there are so many emotions where we are protecting ourselves, but the protection that we have, the wall that we have built around us to protect us, is not helping us to live our lives, right? So it's very, very important for us to become conscious of the emotions that you're going through every day, which is not very supportive, and we need to release them. Is it clear about emotional baggage for all of us, right? You've got an idea? Wonderful. Thank you, Rajkumar. Yes. So, first one we saw was limiting beliefs, which is not helping us to love ourselves. The second one I said is emotional baggage, which is the emotions that we are holding on, which are not releasing it. Therefore, it causes a lot of pain. And the third one is routines and patterns. I think Shilpa mentioned it earlier. It's very, very important for us to be aware of the routines that we have, right? Your routines directly lead to self love. If you have a routine where 1 hour you spend for yourself every day, you do your physical activity, right? Then you are having a right routine which helps you to love yourself. But let's say you're not doing any physical activity, you're not doing any form of meditation, you're not taking time off for yourself every single day, you're not having a me time in your schedule. Let's say you're not doing any of this, then obviously you will get bogged by work. You will feel tired. You will feel exhausted. You will feel like, why am I into this process? So very important is to take time for yourself. Can you all type me time in the chat box for me, please? Me time. And go and type that in the chat box for me, please. Me time. Right. So what is me time? Spending time for yourself. Spending time for yourself, right? So how often do you think you need to spend time for yourself? Once in a year? Once,
Daily.
sorry, Mira?
Daily.
Yeah, absolutely, right? Every day. And what do you think is the minimum time you need to spend for yourself? Just take a idea.
At least 20 minutes.
20 minutes, yeah. We can start with that and slowly increase it at least to an hour for yourself in 24 hours. 1 hour is for yourself, right? You can do whatever you want at the time, right? You can be even just sitting and having a sip of coffee, that's fine. But you are just with yourself, you are connected with yourself, and you're doing it with a lot of ease and calm and relaxed, right? So there are various things that you can do part of this me time. You can do physical exercise. You can read a book. You can watch a video. You can drink a coffee. You can eat your favorite food. You can do all of that. But as long as you're connected with yourself, right? You're having fun. You're enjoying that period of time. It's very, very, very important for you to have your me time, right? By having right routines, you will be able to love yourself. But let's say you don't have the right routine, then obviously we will feel very, very stuck and very, very difficult, right? So these are the three things that we need to work on. We need to become conscious of the beliefs that is not helping to love yourself and work on them and release them. Second thing we need to do, become conscious of the baggages that you're holding, emotions that you're holding. It could be against your father, mother, it could be against your spouse, your children. Yeah, and become conscious of it, and you need to work on it and you need to release them. And the third thing that we need to do is become conscious of the routines that you have. The routines that you currently have life, is it helpful in your life? Is it supportive or not supportive? If it is not supportive, then you need to change it and input it in a way that you will be able to love yourself. The last concept that I'm going to leave you with, right? Life is, right, as I mentioned, it's not about what you have. It's not about having 1 crore but feeling insecure. It's not having people all around you but feeling alone, right? It's about the connection that you hold inside of us. At any given point of time, we go through various downward spiral emotions, right? It could be boredom, doubt, blame, discouragement, fear, anger. Oh, excuse me. Sorry, I've got a bad cold. Excuse me for that, right? So, are you living a life where you're going through all these downward spiral emotions, or you're living a life when you're going through upward spiral emotions, right? So, excuse me, sorry. What we want to experience in our life is number one, which is the joy, knowledge, empowerment, freedom, love, and appreciation. This is what we want to go through in our life. But instead of being in that space of joy, knowledge, empowerment, freedom, love, and appreciation, many a times we are spending in the downward spiral, right? So, what we need to do is to live a conscious life of self love, right? Conscious life of self love, right? Where you are really taking care of yourself, supporting yourself in such a way that you are first at joy, knowledge, empowerment, freedom, love, and appreciation. When you are able to be in that space, it's very, very easy for you to help the people around you to get to that space, to support them, to help them, to provide an environment that is supportive for them to reach that particular place. But if you yourself are stuck all the time in the downward spiral, then it's very difficult for you to help somebody else to reach a positive space, right? So, whatever we discuss right now, having a beautiful routine for yourself, right? Having a right emotional space, right? All of that will help you to take care of yourself and also help and support people whoever needs help. Right? So this is what I wanted to present to all of you for today, and we can open up for questions and any questions connected to whatever we have discussed till now, or any questions apart from this also with respect to emotions. Feel free to ask, and I'll be able to take you through that. Okay, good.
Uh, so we have collected a few questions from parents
Okay.
with regard to anger issues in children and certain emotional upheavals in children. So
Okay.
we would like you to just
Please.
pick that up and answer it.
Sure.
So, yeah.
You can ask the questions one by one, Archana. We can pick it up. And people here also feel free. You can also ask your questions, whatever that you have so far seen. Feel free to ask questions.
Yes.
Nina, do you have a question? You have your hands raised. Or is it for the earlier question?
Sir,
Yes.
I have only one son, age 36. He
Okay.
gets angry very frequently. And how
Okay.
to handle himself when he's angry and emotionally upset, sir?
Okay. What is the age you said? 36?
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes, sir, 36.
Okay. So one of the things that you need to ensure is anger is basically emotional buildup, right? There's a lot of emotion that is built up inside which is not released, right? So one of the things I would definitely recommend for anybody, if you can do some form of physical activity, right? Physical activity will help you to release that emotions in the right way. If you can, as intense as you can go in the physical activity, it is better. Let's say the person cannot do intense physical activity, even some form of walking is also good enough. So every day there has to be some form of physical exercise that needs to be done so that the sweat comes out, right? That's a form of release of your emotion. Now, if your emotions are not released constantly, then they start building up and then they come out in the form of an anger. Right, man? So for you, the simplest thing that I would ask you to start with is do some physical exercise for the son. Ensure that he is at least walking every day so that he can release the emotions. If he can do intense exercise, then ask him to do little more intense exercise. It could be a game that he wants to play. That is also perfectly fine. Now, the second thing that if you want to go deeper in work is to notice where the anger is coming from. Is it the same type of anger that's coming every day for the same reasons, or is it for different reasons? If it is coming for the same reason every single day, let's say he's complaining about food all the time, he's complaining about one particular aspect all the time, then you need to go to the source of it and resolve it so that he does not get angry. Right? So these are two things I would recommend you to look at.
But when I ask him to walk and do some physical exercise, he's not listening to me, sir. He's not at all cooperative. What to do, sir? How to handle him, sir?
Probably go along for a walk with him, right? See, make it little interesting for them, make it little fun for them, right? It is not like today you have to go for 1 hour walk. No, instead of doing that, you just go along for them. Let's go for a walk. Let's have a discussion. Maybe start with 5 minutes, right? Anybody who loves a particular action, they will start repeating that action. If they don't love that action, they will not do it, right? So my suggestion is you can also start walking along with them. Make it fun, make it interesting, right? And let's say if you think
Excuse me,
walking,
sir. Instead of telling him walking, we can tell him, let's go to mall or some nearby market or temple, wherever.
yes,
So that it's an indirect form of walking also, as well as emotionally he feels good, no?
absolutely, right. Thank you so much, Mina. Yes, definitely you can do that, right? Look at whatever ways that is interesting for them and then go into that particular activity. And slowly, once the interest increases, get them to do more, right? And if they can get into a game, that's very, very good way to do it. Yes, Chana,
Yes, sir. Um,
can you go?
so these are the questions from Meera ma'am.
Okay,
So, does emotional upheavals play a major role in speech development of children?
absolutely, it does. Right? Depending on how well we are able to process our emotions, we are able to express and communicate. Any expression that we do is connected to the emotions that we go through at any point of time. Right? So the more we are uh, processing our emotions really well, our ability to express and communicate them becomes easier. Right? How to handle my stress levels in order to effectively handle my child? As I mentioned, Mira, today we talked about spending time for yourself, having a time where you're able to have a me time, get yourself into a space where you are relaxed, you are very calm, you regain your time and energy, and then your ability to love others is becomes very easy. But you are chock a blocked all the time, morning to evening you're working, you don't have time for yourself, then obviously any human being it's very difficult to take care of others. So allocate a time, get the people in your family to support that, and really take care of yourself. Then it's very easy to do that. Right? Go for a spa, right? Go for a lunch with friends, right? Have time for yourself. It's very, very important to do that. What are the ways to increase your emotional stability? One of the things that you can do is there are a lot of healing techniques that are available. One healing technique I would suggest to use Ho'oponopono meditation. Right? If you've heard about that, so you can just Google it out, yeah, and have a routine where every day you're doing some form of meditation where you're releasing some of the emotions away, right? Consciously, unconsciously, releasing this emotional baggage that you have. Right? As I look at you, I can see that there's some amount of stress that is there, right? It's constantly in the back of your mind, which is there. So if you can find some way to release some amount of emotions, do Ho'oponopono every single day. Pick up 1%, right? One day you can do it for your children, one day for yourself. Start with yourself. That's a very beautiful thing to do, right? Do it for yourself. Do it for your children. Do it for your spouse, family, office if you're working, etc. And start releasing these emotions every single day. Then what happens? You're in a very stable space to be, right? Second is for emotional stability, physical activity is very, very important. Any form of physical activity is okay. When you do that, your mind and body is connected. When your body is agile, mind is agile. But when your body is rigid, your mind is also very rigid. So emotional stability by doing physical exercise and me time and healing. These three things you can do. I hope that answers. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah. Next one is Ball. How do you deal with children with emotional imbalances? The above question is for present day children or age between 7 to 10. Yeah. The reason is because we need to spend a lot more time with them, right? And we need to express and communicate about it. Right now, what's happening is more often now it's becoming like solo families. Right, there is only father, mother, and children, and the father and mother many times are busy with their own lives. Therefore, there is not enough support system to tell the children how to handle their emotions. Right, and where do they learn from? They learn from us. If we are good at emotions, they naturally learn from us. If we are not handling good at handling emotions, then they also struggle with that, right? So the answer for this is to spend quality time with your children every day, and you be an example, and you need to ensure that your emotions are in check. If you do that, automatically the children also will become that. Okay? My friend's child who is in high school never expresses emotion. Does it mean he's mature enough? No. We start saying that vulnerability is a strength. Ability to express your emotions is important. It's okay to cry when you're not feeling okay. So it's very, very important for us to express emotions. Not expressing emotions is a challenge, right? So it could be because of family and background that they don't express their emotions, but we need to teach children specifically to express emotions and tell them, I'm happy now, I'm sad now, I'm angry now, I'm disappointed now. Children should start expressing and name and tag emotions. It's very, very, very important to do that. Yeah, Archana, you can go to the next one.
This one.
Yeah.
How?
So Shamla Vijay, how to understand and sense if anything is wrong and you need support. The simplest is look at facial expressions, right? A facial expression and body language of a person will communicate so much about what the person is going through, right? It can never make a mistake. So connect with people. Now, when I look at the facial expression, eye contact, and body language, you will know whether the person is connected, not connected, okay, not okay. What are the emotions children usually exhibit and what to understand from it? Please give some examples. Every emotion, there's nothing like only this emotion a child will go through. Child experiences all forms of emotions, right? It could be happiness, sad, anger, frustrated, agitated, disappointed, not okay, I'm not good enough. Every emotions that they go through, right? There's no limit, like only child has only limited, but nothing like that. How to improve our emotional connect with kids? You need to connect with your emotions first. When you are connected with your emotions, when you are processing your own emotions, it's very easy for you to handle and connect to the emotions of our children. Number one. Number two, it's very important for you to activate the inner child inside of us. Inside each one of us, there is a child, a small child is there, which wants to have fun, which wants to play, which wants to spend time doing small, small things, etc. When you connect with your inner child, your ability to connect with your kids becomes easy. But when you are disconnected with your own self, with your own inner child, connecting with the external child is very, very difficult. Right? So connecting with your inner child is very, very important for you to connect with the children outside. Again, it's very important for you to connect with your own emotions so that it's easy for you to connect with the emotions of your children. I said the next question also I've answered by that, right? Yes, Archana, we can go to the next.
Yeah. Mrs. Premalata has asked for mothers.
Yeah. Tips to stay motivated and overcome negative thoughts in the journey. Have a strong positive routine. So, waking up, doing physical exercise, writing journals, doing meditation, right? Spending quality time with yourself, with family will help you to stay motivated, right? Spending quality time with family also helps a lot, right? So, ensure that you have a me time, especially for mothers. Right? Depression and stress are two major factors that every parent in this journey. Tips to handle them, like I think that's what we have discussed in the entire session. Self-love, handling yourself, right? Spending some time, all of that will help. Yeah. So I understand, especially mothers without family support. No, this is what becomes very difficult for them, right? They are caught up all the time. Uh, so somewhere you have to become little emotionally strong and take external help, right? Don't just depend on family members. There are so many support systems that we can take today. There are so many centers where people are willing to take care of your children, or it could be a play area where you can leave your children for some time. So don't become too emotional and say, no, 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 I can't do that to my children. I will not leave them there. I have to be there around them all the time. No, that will definitely not help or support. So my request is to take external support apart from your family members, right? There are so many from your maid, from your activity centers, etc. You where you leave them there and trust the child will be okay, right? You do your checks prior, but once you've done, just trust it, leave them there, and then you spend that time for yourself, right? And by doing that, and by taking care of yourself, and by being in a relaxed zone, after that, your ability to come back very strong is possible. Okay? So please, please, please do find time for yourself, right? And find external help apart from family. Yeah. Next one, Raj.
That's about it, sir.
Okay.
So we can have questions from the participants right now.
Yeah, I want to ask one thing.
Yeah.
How to avoid negative thoughts?
Yeah. So negative thoughts, again, as you know, looked at, it comes from a belief system, correct? The beliefs that we hold in our life, right? So now start questioning the beliefs itself. Any belief that you have which is non-supportive, you can tell yourself that's not true. Or if this country keeps coming in my life, this is how my life will be. You can say, no, that's not true. We never know, right? So you ask an opposite question and then say that's not true. Or whenever your mind says, oh, this is going to be very bad, da, 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 and then you say thank you for sharing, and you leave it like that, right? Because mind is designed for survival. It'll only try to protect you and safeguard you. It is not looking for growth and all of that. So every time a mind tries to come and inform you, and then you say thank you so much for sharing, and you leave it like that. Don't carry on to that thought. Don't keep processing that thought for like next 3 hours or 4 hours, right? And then it becomes an unconscious habit. So thought comes, you need not carry that thought, you just let it go. Let it go. And you consciously spend your thoughts on the ones that you want to. So probably like taking a book and reading it, that's you consciously spending some time. You spending time with your children, right? Or etc. That you put efforts instead of the ones that the mind keeps telling you again and again. If you keep on practicing this, over a point of time, the mind will stop and you will become more control of yourself.
Thank you.
Thank you, Meera, for the question. Yeah. Anybody else? Any other questions?
Sir, one more, sir.
Yeah.
My son is very adamant and dominating us. So how to handle him that time, sir? If he's very adamant.
Yeah. Shamla, what I want you to do is for some time, forget about yourself. Right? You have done it enough amount of time in your life, right? 36 years. You've taken care of him so much, right? Now, right now, your
Yes,
entire
sir.
life is revolving around your son, right? I want you to consciously take a break from even thinking about it, right? And then I want you to spend time for yourself, right? When was the last time you went for a lunch date with yourself, Shamla?
Last?
Lunch
Pardon?
date, lunch with your friends or family, only with friends, let's say, or with yourself, only you.
Long time, sir.
So what I wanted to do is first do that. I want you to take a break, spend time with your friends or with yourself, just by yourself, right? And don't worry about your children. Don't worry about anybody else in that 1 hour. Just to be with yourself, right? Enjoy that, or go for a spa. Spa போயிருக்கீங்களா அதுக்கு முன்னாடி?
No, sir.
போங்க ஒரு ஃபுட் ஸ்பா போங்க. Go and do a foot spa. Do a foot massage for yourself, right? You deserve it, Shamla, and it's very very important you do that for yourself. So இப்போ இப்பயே புக் பண்ண போறீங்க நாளைக்கு ரொட்டீன் ரைட்டா ஒரு ஃபுட் ஸ்பா போறீங்க, and then I want you to go for a food with your friends, right?
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, when you are happy, how will you? Very very easy to take care of them. Even if they shout, you will ignore them. But when you are constantly thinking about them, you will drain yourself, right? And are you doing any physical exercise, Shamla?
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Exercise,
What is
walking.
your age? Is it okay to ask?
Yes, sir.
What's your age?
My age is 70, sir.
70. Wonderful, right? So, ma, just forget about your children, right? Every
But
day.
sir, after our demise, who will take care of him? No, nobody is there, sir, to
Someone will
support
take it.
us.
Yeah, it will happen. No, you don't know how it will happen. Just trust in God. God is there, right? He knows how to take care, right? Well, how he gave Shamala, he'll give someone else for them. Don't worry about them. Okay. But
Okay,
it's
sir.
very important that you live your life also happy, right?
Okay.
Talking about after your demise, who will take care? But when you are living, you should be alive, right? You should be happy. That's very important, isn't it? So
Okay.
you will find a way to take care of your children. Don't worry, that will happen. But right now, I want you to spend time for yourself. Take care of yourself. No, be happy with the life. Then, even if he's angry, you will be able to handle it very easily. But right now, since you are always tired and all of them, the stress is handling. When he is angry, it's very difficult for you to take that anger. Yeah. So take that break, take a
Yes,
little rest, and then you will find more energy to handle your son very easily.
Yes, sir. Yes. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Anandi ma'am, your hand is raised. Do you have a question, ma'am?
I think in the earlier
Okay.
time when I asked them to show hands, they did.
And younger parents are getting doubt when to pamper a child or when to be very strict.
Yeah. So it's basically connecting with the emotions, right? So if you notice that the child is, you express an emotion, the child is able to handle it, then you can give it. But you say after a point of time, the child is not able to handle the emotion that you're giving. Let's say you're angry, the child is able to take the anger. It is okay. Now you're giving an anger which the child is not able to handle. You connect to the child. You notice the child is like crying now beyond control. Then you have to stop it. Right? So it's very important to give emotions like anger also. Right? It's very important to give a lot of love also. But when you're connected with the child, you know it's going overboard, whether it's anger or love. Right? At that time, you need to stop and then take a break from that. Right? So it's just being connected with your own emotions and the child. That way we can assess. Any given moment, we need to assess constantly. Yeah, thank you. Beautiful. Thank you for wonderful. Yes, Anandi.
Do you give any personal consultation?
Yes, I do coaching. I don't do like a consultation. I do a coaching where I help them if across any emotional challenges that they have or any of the dimensions they're not able to find in relationship or career or money they have a challenge. I help them with. One-to-one counseling, I don't do. It's more of a coaching process.
Right.
But we do workshops. I do public workshops where we help people to handle their emotions very well, right? We call it as Own Your Inner Power, where we teach them how to handle their emotions, how to love themselves. These three things that we said, work on it very deeply and release negative belief systems, release emotional baggages, help them to heal themselves. All that we do, right? As a workshop format, we do. You can just follow me in my pages wherever we can, and then you can get updated about that. So thank you so much for a beautiful audience and coming and being attentive, asking your questions. I felt it is a great time spending a Saturday evening with all of you. Hopefully, I've given one or two pointers which you can take back and put it into.
Thank you so much, sir. Love all.
On
Thank you.
behalf of Team Mabelora, I'd like to thank Mr. Ganesh for a wonderful, wonderful session that we've had for this 1 hour. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for accepting our invite and being on our webinar. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Take care.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.